Alright, so what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to do a review of the third episode of Season 7 of The Walking Dead, which was called Cell. Now, in this video, it was more of a Negan, Dwight, Daryl episode. It was all three of them. They were the main stars of the episode, and we got a lot of context as what happened with Negan and Dwight last season, and we also get to see what's going on with Daryl. We see kind of his mindset and what he's going through as a prisoner of the Saviors, and we also get to see the Saviors compound. We get to see where they're holding out. Well, at least where a good portion of them, including Negan himself, is holding out. And we get to see just their way of life and how they do things. And, this episode was really interesting because I was really wondering how Daryl was going to take this, because let's be honest, he's the reason why Glenn is dead now. He got Glenn killed. I mean, no matter how you try to twist it, that is exactly what happened. And it's really interesting to see how he's taking this, how he's dealing with the situation, and kind of like just his mindset behind everything, because everything happened so fast, and I don't think anyone there are still people coming down from the hype of the premiere. And even the characters in the show, like the actual characters, I'm pretty sure like they're still in a really fucked up state of mind, if you follow what I'm saying. Like, everything was so crazy at the premiere, and we're not gonna ever forget that premiere. Let's just be real, we're never gonna forget it. The show, the characters in the show, they will never forget it. So it's something that it's really just burned into our brains right now. And just to see Daryl go through this kind of like grieving / guilt process of just getting pretty much Glenn killed, and I'm pretty sure he believes that himself, that he got Glenn killed, but I mean, that's besides the point. Pretty much we get to see Daryl where he's at, and it's really interesting because, like, I don't like Dwight, okay? Dwight's a character I do not like for obvious reasons, and he's always struck me. Okay, when I first actually met the character, I thought he was cool. I can see why he started off not liking Daryl, because he thought he was a savior. And then when he found out that he wasn't, and Daryl tried to help him, he still turned his back on Daryl. And it really made me wonder, why is this guy like this? Like, I mean, I understand, in the conditions they were under, and survival of the fittest, and you have Negan's men after you, and it was, I can see why they did it, but it's like something was always off about Dwight. And I really don't like him. And it's crazy how he's wearing Daryl's clothes now. He's wearing his jacket. He's riding his bike. He has his crossbow. Like, he has some kind of Daryl fetish. That's honestly what it seems like. He has some kind of serious fetish for Daryl. And one thing that was really cool about this episode is we got to see Negan we finally got to see him other than from the premiere. Because, okay, we all had our thoughts and opinions of what Negan would be like, and then we actually see the actual actor, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and we get to see Negan from the premiere, and then that was it. But we actually get to see Negan now kind of in a more calm state. Well, he's always calm, I guess you could say, but we get to see Negan kind of chilled back and relaxed and not about to kill somebody. And it's really cool because he has such a charismatic way about him that really fits into his character. I mean, I haven't read up to the comics where they meet Negan yet, so I can't really compare the two. But from what I've seen from the television show, this Negan, he just seems so relaxed and so chill, and he's so cool about it. And comparing him from what happened in the premiere to what happened now, it's really cool because it's almost like you're seeing it's the same person, but at the same time, it's like you see two totally different sides of him. And it's really hard on Daryl. And there was a moment, this is kind of a spoiler a little bit, but there was a moment where Daryl tries to escape, and he doesn't get far, but it looks like he's about to get far and actually get away. And Negan and some saviors stop him. And his whole thing behind all this, he's trying to convert Daryl over to his side. And I wasn't too sure if that's what he was going to originally do, but it's becoming really obvious. What he did was he had all his men around him, and he pointed his bat at them, and he said, who are you? Who are you? And they all responded, I'm Negan. And one of the things I've learned actually from last season is that everybody's Negan. Everybody who's a savior, they are all Negan. And he wanted Daryl to say it. Obviously, he wanted Daryl to kneel and say that he's Negan, and then that way he can start to actually convert Daryl over to his side, because he sees something in him that it's it's very valuable. He sees a survivor, somebody who's strong and independent on their own, and I think he really likes that, and he really wants to get Daryl over on his side. But you see, the thing is, for me, I don't think that's gonna happen, because if Merle could not convert Daryl, to leave the prison and leave the group, I don't think Negan can. And Merle was blood. Okay, Merle was his brother, his blood brother. I don't think Negan can do it. Honestly, I just really don't see it happening. But yeah, it was a really good episode. You had Daryl. He's really going through a lot right now. They have him in a cell, and it's so wrong, like how they're doing him. What they do is, they had, at first he was naked inside of his cell, and they were feeding him. I'm not sure. Okay, see, here's the thing. It looked like it was dog food. I assumed it was dog food at first, but there was some point where Dwight had mentioned shit sandwiches. Now, that leads me to believe that he was feeding him shit, like actual feces, in a sandwich for like the past God knows how long he's been there. So Daryl has been stripped naked, no showering, nothing, just eating dog shit like every day, every single day. And then they played the most obnoxious music, which I thought was hilarious. I don't even know what the songs were called, but they played the most loudest, obnoxious music. And it's so organized that I feel like this is what they do to everybody. This is what every prisoner has to deal with. And this is their way of, like the Marines, where they break you down and then build you back up. And I think that's really, really cool. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Negan's character had like a really strong military background before the apocalypse. I heard he was like a gym teacher or something like that. But before that, I can see if he was actually in the army, because everything seems... It seems kind of military-like in a sense, almost like that. And it seems like that's what they're trying to do, and I think like they do that with everybody. They break you down and they build you from the ground back up. And one thing that was really, really awesome, I would say one of the hypest moments. The hypest moment for me was the very end, where it was Dwight brought Daryl to Negan, and they started to have a conversation. Pretty much it was just Negan talking to Daryl, and he explained what happened last season when Dwight and his wife and his sister had escaped the Saviors. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys everything he said word for word, but it gives you a lot of context, and I wouldn't say it blows your mind. I'm not going to say that, but it is really shocking when you hear it. Like, once he starts diving into the story, you can't help but listen, and it's so good. Like, I mean... And it really shows that Dwight has he really hates Negan. I think it's almost safe to say he really, really hates Negan. And you can almost see it in his eyes as Negan is explaining this story to Daryl. Because again, as Negan is trying to convert Daryl, he tells him about a story about Dwight and why Dwight had escaped, and how now Negan... Okay, this is kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear that, go ahead and just mute this little part of the video. But Negan is pretty much took Dwight's wife. He took his wife, just that simple. Like, he just took her. And there's a whole story behind it. You guys really should check it out. I'm not going to spoil it for you, because I'm pretty sure some people may want to actually see it. So I want you to check it out for yourselves, whatever. But it was really, really, really good. But as a whole, yeah, this episode was good. Like I said, we got to see Daryl and his mindset and where he's at. We got to see Negan, a more calm, relaxed, kind of like, I'm not about to kill somebody Negan, which is cool. Which I guess he always seems calm and relaxed. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who just flies off the handle unless he has a reason to. We got to see more of Dwight. You got to see his wife. We got to see the Saviors compound, like I said before, and we got to see they have these walkers on spikes, like right before you enter. I guess that way, if there's anybody who's coming towards the Savior's compound, the walkers will make a lot of noise. Now, I guess that'll alert the whole compound or something like that. So I guess that's what they're doing with like the walkers that are on like spikes outside. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, we get to see a whole bunch of stuff. It's awesome. And then next week's episode is actually supposed to be, I think, 90 minutes long, episode 4, and we get to go back to Rick and the group and all of them. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, as a whole, this episode was really good. I think you guys should check it out if you haven't already. I didn't want to spoil anything, because I don't like spoilers myself, and I'm pretty sure you don't. So I mean, we could just go ahead and talk about it in the comment section below. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll catch you guys later. And also be sure to let me know what you thought about this week's episode of The Walking Dead. And also, in the comment section, let's talk about what's going to happen in next week's episode, because it looks really, really good. If you've seen the previews, you know what I'm talking about. But again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a great day.